Hi guys, I'm Caleb from Schultz Ford. Today I'm here to talk about cost. So this is part 5 of 7 of Life of an EV. And like I said, today we're just going to talk about cost of charging, so residential, public, the vehicle prices. What is the tax credit? Like the gray lines there, how much chargers cost, and maybe charger installation. So this one's not going to be that long of an episode compared to the last two. I'm still going to put timestamps here. That way you can skip ahead if you already know some of the stuff. But let's get right into it. So let's talk about residential charging. So, thank you to Chris Knight. This is a screenshot from his phone. He has a Mach-E. We spoke to him in the last video. This app keeps track of how much electricity he uses charging and how much it costs him. So, this was a month. So 31st of March until the 29th of April. Two important numbers are right here. So we see he charged 593.42 kilowatt hours is how much electricity he used to charge, and it cost him about $83.16. So all we have to do is take $83.16 divided by how many kilowatts, which was 593.42, and it gives us a price per kilowatt, which was about 14 cents per kilowatt hour, which is cheap. In the previous video we used 20 cents to do our calculations, so Chris is getting 14. Some places, you might even get less. I know last episode they mentioned off-peak charging, so that's using your charger, in the middle of the night, when, rates might be a little bit lower. Something to contact your electric company about, because it's different for everyone. So let's compare it to a gas vehicle. We know from our range video that I was getting about 3.1 miles per every kilowatt in the battery. So 3.1 miles per kilowatt times the 593.42 kilowatt will give us our miles driven. So, always is, see, it's about 1,840 miles driven a month, which it's close to what Chris was telling me. He said he drives about 1,800 miles a month, which is a lot. I know some people would drive more, some people would drive less, but let's compare it to what it would cost if he had a gasoline vehicle. So we're using the 25 miles per gallon and 369 for gas, just like we did in the previous video, keeping everything consistent. 1,840 miles driven divided by the 25 miles per gallon is how many gallons of gas we used, hypothetically. So you need about 73.6 gallons of gas to drive that far in 1 month if you have a 25 mile per gallon vehicle. Math simple from there, 73.6 gallons times the price of gallon, which is $3.69. So you're looking at about $271.58 would be how much he would have spent on gas. So let's compare that to electric vehicle. So electric was $83.16, gas $271.58. So you're looking at electric being about 30% the cost of gas in this scenario. Before we were saying about 50%. Here it's about 30. It might be different in the wintertime. This was, late winter, spring time for us in Pittsburgh. But let's move on to public charging.
Caleb.
What's up, Matt?
I gotta interrupt. So last time we were talking about charging, I lied. I told you that there was over 13,500 chargers in the Ford Pass charging network. There is, but there's quite a few more than that.
How many is there?
There's 84,000.
84,000.
Yeah, that actually makes them the largest public charging network in all of North America, all plugged into the Blue Oval Charge network.
Wow.
Yeah. They got partnerships with Electrify America, ChargePoint, EVgo, Shell Charge Solutions, a lot of other partners as well, featuring pay-as-you-go access. So you can just
So you just plug in, you're good.
plug in. There you go. Not all of them are the exact, plug-in charge, but you can kind of
If you have the app,
if
like
you have Electrify America mostly with the plug-in charge, but I know some other ones are offering that as well. But the whole point is that you can
ease.
Yeah, exactly. Ease of use, and they're growing. That's gonna be more than 84,000.
So by the time this video
yeah,
even
probably,
comes out, it might even be
it could
90.
Be 87,000, could be 90,000.
84,000 chargers in Ford's network. That's insane. While we're talking about public chargers, I actually went to one, and I showed it in the last video, the whole process of being there, and I showed you the screen after I was finished, and I said I'd touch this in the next video. Here's the screenshot from what I was recording. It's hard to see because the glare, so I put it into an easy to read chart. So we have 80% state of charge. I was there for 14 minutes, and I charged about 7.8 kilowatts. So most people want to take the total cost, $7.34, divided by 7.8 kilowatts to get our price per kilowatt. But if you do that, you're going to get 94 cents per kilowatt, and that's incorrect. So if you look at here, the second line, it says session fee. So $2.99. A session fee is every time I get a charge, it's a flat rate that they charge me to park in that spot and charge on their charger. This isn't the same for every place. This is just for this one. This specific charger that was in McCandless Crossings. So we have to get rid of that $2.99. So our subtotal is $6.86 minus $2.99, $3.87, which is just our charging fee right up there. I just wanted to show you how I got that number. So we do our charging fee divided by how many kilowatts we charged, and then that'll give us our price per kilowatt. So it was 50 cents per kilowatt hour. Like I said, we have that $2.99 session fee. So let's say I want to charge from 0% to 100, and I have a 70 kilowatt battery. 50 cents times 70 kilowatts, it's going to give us $35 plus our $2.99 session fee. We also have Allegheny tax, which is 7%. So we also have to calculate that in. But if you don't know how to do the tax part of it, say you have 6% tax, it's going to be a little different. It's just whatever's in your parentheses here. So it'd be $37.99 times 1.07, or if it's 6%, 1.06, and then it'll give you your total cost. So our total cost here is $41.49 to go from 0% to 100%. Which is pretty similar to about a tank of gas, depending on what kind of vehicle you have. But here's the thing, you're not going to charge from 0% to 100% on a public charger due to the charging curve. So, and this is most time. There may be scenarios where you do this, that's fine. But most people don't because it's not time effective. Like I explained in the charging curve in the last video, once you get to 80%, your charging speed tanks and it goes a lot lower, and it charges slower. So, why would you spend an extra 30 minutes there if you're only going to get 10% charge? So, also the 50 cents per kilowatt is a little pricey in my opinion. With Ford and Electrify America, you can buy a monthly membership to get up to 25% off charging rates. So something to keep in mind if you have an EV or if you're looking into one. And I think last time I checked, the membership was $4 a month, which is a good deal if you're mainly only public charging. If you public charge maybe once a blue moon, then I wouldn't invest in the membership. So let's talk about vehicle price. So, I'm not going to get too in depth about each vehicle price because there's a million different options you can put on these things, and the price can vary all over the place. So I put the starting prices here: $42,995 for the Mach-E and $59,947 for the Lightning. That's from Ford.com. That's what they have as their starting price. Once you start adding options, these prices tend to vary. Ford.com build and price, that's the best way to see what exact vehicle you want and what price it would end up. But I just want to use that as a segue into the tax credit. So the common misconception with the tax credit is, price of the vehicle is $60,000, and I'm told I'm getting a $7,500 tax credit. So that means I'm paying $52,500, sorry, for the vehicle instead of $60,000. Not necessarily how it works. So the tax credit is something you would have to talk to whoever does your taxes, an accountant, to see how it applies to you and in your best interest, and actually see how much you would get. Because I'm no tax expert. I'm just pulling stuff directly from the IRS website, fueleconomy.gov as well, to kind of show you a roundabout. But definitely consult your accountant or whoever does your taxes to see what you would qualify for. But here, this is from fueleconomy.gov. So this is going to give me my credit amount. So I have the E-Transit here, the Escape plug-in hybrid, F-150 Lightning, the extended range and the standard range, and the Mach-E extended range and standard range. This was for vehicles placed into service on or after April 18th of this year. So this is very recent when this happened, when they made this switch. So the credit amount, if we look here, E-Transit $3,750, and this is up to, not like, I'm not going to interpret any more than what I can. So up to $3,750. Up to $3,750 on the Escape plug-in hybrid, $7,500 on the Lightning extended range, $7,500 on the Lightning standard range, $3,750 on the Mach-E extended range, and $3,750 on the Mach-E standard range. MSRP limit. So if we look here, it says $80,000 across the board. What that means is if it's over that, it's not eligible for the tax credit. So with a lot of these vehicles, you won't have that issue. I don't think there's any Mach-E's over $80,000. Definitely no Escape plug-in hybrids over $80,000. Lightnings, the higher end ones get pretty pricey. So there's probably some Lightnings that do not qualify for tax credit based on this new MSRP limit. So also assembled in North America, these all check off for it. That's another way you'd have to receive the tax credit, is if it's assembled in here. There's also some more rules with the battery mineral sourcing, but definitely learn more on the irs.gov or fueleconomy.gov. So another requirement or stipulation is the applicable income threshold amount. And this is straight from the IRS. You can't have any more than $300,000 for joint return filers or surviving spouses. You can't have over $225,000 for head of house filers, and over $150,000 for all others, including single filing taxpayers. So definitely something to look into before buying an EV. Before you're like, oh, I'm definitely getting this tax credit. Look into it. Make sure you qualify for it before you're expecting that tax credit. And what it is, that's just going to save you on your taxes. And again, consult your accountant or whoever does your taxes and see what's best for you. So charger costs, I went over in the last video, but I'm just going to touch on them real fast. Ford Mobile Power Cord, the 120 volt and the 240 volt are both standard with your EV. The end piece that connects to the wall just changes out. So whether you're using it for a 120 or 240, it has both connectors. The other two, the Ford Connected Charge Station, which is the best for the Mach-E, is $799. And the Ford Charge Station Pro, which is standard with the Lightning extended range and it's best for Lightning, it's $1,310. So these are both available at chargers.ford.com. So if you want to buy them aftermarket, You're more than welcome to. If you want to finance them, you can. So charger installation costs. So it's kind of hard to put a number on how much it'll cost to get a charger installed, because everyone's home is different. You may have the service already set up for a charger, or you might need one put in. So always consult an electrician beforehand to kind of give you an estimate. So for example, we have a local electrician that their starting costs for installation is right around $735, which isn't horrible at all. You know, it varies. It could be a couple $1,000s depending on if your house needs a whole new service. So definitely consult an electrician and see, hey, do I like how much am I investing in buying an electric vehicle or buying a charger that I'm going to put in this house? Because that cost, like I said, could be higher based on the kind of service your home needs. So what I went over, residential charging is significantly cheaper than public charging. Residential charging, I think it was like 14 cents, and the public charging was like 50 cents. So, it will make more sense to charge at home. Plain and simple. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything there. We went over who's eligible for the tax credit. So, like I said, another good thing to do is, consult your accountant or whoever does your taxes and see, hey, if I buy this monkey in June, will I receive any tax credit? How will it affect me? Also, how much you'd spend on a charger, which I also went over in the last video, and charger installation. Again, really hard to pinpoint that because it's different for everyone. It really is. Every home's different. It's set up different. Consult an electrician. Call them. Say, hey, I'm looking to get an EV. I just want to see how much it would cost me to put a charger in my house. And they'll ask you. They're knowledgeable. It's not the first time they've done this. This isn't a new thing for them. They've been putting these chargers in for a while, so they'll know. But I hope you learned something there. I hope I covered everything involving cost. I didn't cover maintenance. I didn't do that for a reason, because the next video I'm going to be going over maintenance, comparing maintenance costs between an EV and a regular ICE vehicle, and just breaking it down. And cost is going to be involved in that. So I didn't want to go over it in this video and spoil it for the next. So, SchultzFord.com.